play a sport, a game, knowing full well that you're going to either win or lose. You never expect to die before your dreams come true. Neither did Jimmy, or his father, Gale Banballo, a Minnesota innkeeper. He set up a secret baseball practice arena in the basement of his inn, where he and his son practiced day after day. Jimmy's hard work and batting skills finally led his team to a state victory. It started out a crisp spring day, but before Jimmy could go outside to play, he and his dad went downstairs to bat the ball around a few times. Upstairs, some teenagers had been playing with fire, turning the inn into a raging blaze that was soon out of control. The inn was a total loss, and so was Jimmy, burned in minutes. Mr. Banballo was so badly maimed, he turned into a hideous monster, oozing and bleeding, snarling and growling like a beast, enraged and bent on revenge. He tracked down the kids responsible for the fire and killed them one by one with a blowtorch. That wasn't enough for Banballo. He won't leave his inn or his memories, so there he waits, in ambush.
So after being told that gripping tale, we're told that our objective is to calm down the burned and grieving Mr. Banballo, and that we have to keep an eye out for memories of his son. There's that $50,000 prize, and we have to meet some requirements to collect the whole thing, which we'll be talking a little bit about later. Only one character to pick from right now, that being Eriko, but that'll change later. Now, do me a favor. Imagine that you're back in 2001 and you just bought this game. You don't know anything about it, you haven't read the manual, you just popped it in the Dreamcast and pressed power. All you know is that this is supposed to be a survival horror game of some kind, and you've played Resident Evil, so you think that this is going to be nothing new to you. You start playing, and this is pretty much what happens. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me the first time I played the game. And I was left wondering what just happened. We didn't see any enemies, rather we were attacked by the level itself. And when I died, my health meter wasn't empty, so what killed me? At this point, it was time to hit the manual and figure out how you're actually supposed to play the game. So now that you've seen the first impression ILLBLEED leaves on you, let's show the home run of death what for. First thing we need to know is that we'll encounter many traps in ILLBLEED. For example, that one's unavoidable, but doesn't have much of an effect. To survive an ILLBLEED, we're going to have to detect and defuse those traps, and there is an item in each level that will allow us to do this. And there it is, the horror monitor. The horror monitor will allow us to get by the various traps we encounter. For example, there's a trap door in the front of the entrance to the hotel, but with the horror monitor, we can tag it, and now the trap is harmless. However, using the horror monitor drains adrenaline, which is measured by the blue brain icon in the lower left. Defusing traps will give us some adrenaline back. Hassie is the soft drink of choice in ILLBLEED. It gives us a small amount of health back when consumed. Now let's head into the hotel and see if we can find the kindly Mr. Banballo. The hotel, of course, is filled to the brim with traps. It's funny because you want to avoid the traps, yet seeing the traps is one of the main reasons to play the game. So as I defuse traps, I'm also going to show what happens if I set them off, and that footage will be labeled as the trap cam. So for example, we'll defuse this trap here, which is in that can of Hassie.
Cool.
And we also see the trap get set off as well. So that'll be happening throughout these videos. And last time we remember that Eriko was frightened by that phone ringing, but now it's rendered harmless. Now that it is, we can read those newspapers on the counter. No survival horror game is complete, of course, without notes that have been left about to tell you what's been going on. The hostel is an excellent leisure facility, surrounded by nature as an excellent leisure facility. So yes, the English translation of this game is excellent. It is top quality. So, clippings telling us information that we already knew. We already found that out in the intro.
Cool.
Gauze Wrap is an item that can staunch your bleeding, which is a nasty little status effect that the game features. We're not bleeding as of yet, but we will be. Now, as we walk down these corridors, we'll want to take it slow, as traps aren't always in the same places from game to game. In the hallways, any one of the doors and light fixtures may contain a trap. For example, there's a door up ahead that doesn't have a trap in this playthrough, but when playing at another time, we get a face full of fire. So for some of these traps, you can't just memorize their position. You can for a lot of them, but some of them will be random. And for those random spots, we'll have to tag all potential trap spots with the horror monitor once our senses detect something. Right now, you can see that we're getting a blip under smell in that display at the top of the screen. If you see a blip under sight, hearing, or smell, it means that you're approaching a trap. If you get a blip under sixth sense, it means that there is either an item or a monster encounter nearby. Yeah, there's monsters in ILLBLEED, and we'll be fighting them soon enough.
Cool.
Different traps can do different kinds of damage to Eriko. That light fixture did not do any physical damage, but it did raise her pulse, and it was an excessively high heart rate that killed Eriko the first time. So if that heart rate gets up to around 250, it's instant death. Now here's our first monster encounter. Eriko has met a man who is made out of meat, and he is very angry for some reason. Eriko does not have a weapon, so the best she can do is slap away at the meat man. However, bare hands are not going to do too much damage at all, so we're just going to run from this battle. Eriko can escape from fights by going to that pad, that green pad in the middle of the room, and calling for the helicopter flying above to lower its ladder. As she does this, the Meat Man will continue to attack her, but if she's able to keep it up, then the ladder will lower and she'll get picked up by the helicopter. And if that sentence did not make any sense to you, that's okay, because it doesn't proceed to make any sense later on. That's just part of playing ILLBLEED.